Yo, 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 welcome back, welcome back. This is Talk How We Talk Sports Talk. This is episode 2, and I'm your host, David O, and I'm here today with my co host.
D. Broussard.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. And we're going to be getting into some NBA action. It's midway through the season. It's been pretty good so far. And so we're going to give y'all our perspective on, a couple of the hot teams and some of the popular teams.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Uh, NBA, man. NBA season, man. How you feeling about that NBA season so far, man?
Man, I ain't going to lie to you. Like, right now, it's kind of crazy because it's kind of crazy for the Eastern Conference for me. Like, what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The West is always going to be kind of strong, and they're always going to have the good teams. They're always going to have, some of the strongest players. But man, that Eastern Conference,
Mm.
with Detroit being number one in the East,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
bro,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that.
Right. Right. I don't think nobody was expecting that. Detroit Pistons number one after the mediocre seasons they done had over the years, man. To be number
Yeah,
one,
man,
man, that's crazy, man. For
yeah, man.
real.
And that boy,
Yeah.
That boy Cade, man, that boy, he got him on his back, man. You know what
Man,
I'm
that boy
saying? They
nice,
talking
man.
about he in the, he like up there for like. I mean, I ain't saying he gonna get MVP, but he been up there. You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely in like people talking about him.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
man, let's get into it, man. We're gonna I mean, we doing NBA this episode. So, we're gonna get into the first segment of the show, which is what you think.
yep,
So
yep.
first team, Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, Los Angeles. Everybody love Los Angeles, right? It's like you gotta love hate for Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want them to do good, but then at the same time, you want to hate them at the same time because
Right,
they got
right,
LeBron.
right.
It's like, bro, why y'all hating on LeBron? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? They always saying, oh, he ain't good. He ain't the GOAT. He ain't better than Michael. You know what I'm saying? That's another day. That's another discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But as far as how they season been going, just from what I've been seeing and what I've been hearing, they pretty decent right now. In the Western Conference, they currently they in the Western Conference right now. They kind of they in the top six. So
Okay.
they've been doing pretty good in the Western Conference. To say the Western Conference got they got OKC. They got the Thunders out there. They got the Nuggets out there. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Some powerhouses in the West right now, man. You got
You got the Thunder. Oh, we said OKC already. I
the
mean the
Thunder,
Rockets.
Rockets. Yep, yep.
Yeah, Rockets.
Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about the Rockets and the Thunder's
Yeah,
game last night. I actually went
absolutely,
to that game
absolutely.
last night. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's the beauty of living in the city where you got the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You get to go to the game. So I went to
Uh-huh.
I went to the Thunder and Rockets game last night. So we're gonna
Uh-huh.
talk about that. But I mean, just to get back to the Lakers, like I say, you love them and you hate them at the same time. But right now, I mean, Luca, he been playing, he been balling.
Hmm.
He's up there for like MVP discussions right now. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Currently, right now, he averaging like 33 points a game. Almost 9 rebounds a game, 9 assists per game. So I mean, he almost had a triple double. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? He only one, 2 rebounds off, and 1, 2 assists off. Midway through the season, averaging triple double. So I think with Luca coming over to Los Angeles, I think that was a good trade off for AD because currently AD he in Dallas and he hurt.
That's
So
true.
I mean, what we gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? LeBron
Right.
needed some help. They brought him some help. They also brought in Marcus Smart.
Hmm.
Marcus Smart, he been doing his thing off the bench. And
Hmm.
then, they still got Austin Reeves, and Austin Reeves, he doing his thing. So,
Hmm.
as far as the Lakers, what I think going well for the Lakers right now, I think they big three, if you want to call them a big three, I think they doing pretty good with LeBron, Luca, and Reeves, all
Hmm.
contributing, all playing at a high level. And then LeBron, I mean, people want to say he's not the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? But he going on 41 years old, you know what I'm
41.
saying? Still putting up numbers,
Still putting up
still doing
numbers.
his thing. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
So, I think that's right now. I think that's what's going well for Los Angeles.
Mm.
With they big three all playing at a good level, and and right now they in the top top six in the Western Conference. So if the playoffs had to start today, they would definitely be in, with the Western Conference. Right now,
Mm,
matter of fact, I can tell you right now in the Western Conference, they actually they number five. They number five right
okay.
now, but they're not far off. Like from number two to number six is only like 1, 2 games that
Mm,
you know can flip it. So you can be number six today, and you could be number two tomorrow, depending on who win, who lose. So the
mm.
Western Conference is that tight, is that close right now.
Is that close? Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. What you think?
absolutely.
What you think from what you've been seeing and what you've been hearing?
Um, man, here's my thing. Here's my thing about the Lakers, right? So, the Lakers, I feel like the Lakers, they haven't really recovered from that Russell Westbrook trade. I feel like when they won that championship in 2020, they had a very good team. It was championship built. And I felt like that team could have won multiple championships. But I feel like once they made that trade to bring in Russell Westbrook, I felt like they never actually recovered from that trade.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Obviously, um, Russell Westbrook going to the Lakers, it didn't work out. They ended up shipping him off and
yeah,
basically kicking him out the door because it didn't work out. But with that trade, they gave up a lot of depth, which you need to win championships.
yeah,
They gave up some picks, which you need picks. You got to have picks,
yep,
and I just feel like they never really recovered from that Russell Westbrook trade.
yeah,
Now, like you said, they brought in Luka Doncic, but here's my thing about Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is uh dynamic offensively, but defense, he's a non-factor.
yeah,
And that's always been the case with Luka Doncic. And
yeah,
we saw that in Dallas, when I feel like I saw it in the finals, when Dallas made it to the finals that year
yeah,
against the Boston Celtics. I felt like we saw that Luka was a non-factor on defense. He doesn't like to play defense.
yeah,
And as we both know, in any professional sport, if you don't play defense, you don't win games,
no, that's
and you
true.
can't win championships without playing defense.
That's true.
So my thing with Luka is he's kind of like James Harden to me in a
Yeah,
sense. It's like he gonna go out and give you, I'm talking about the prime James Harden when Harden was in Houston and he was just going crazy, like
oh,
he
yeah,
was
40 a night.
put hard right. He was just putting up crazy numbers, but it was just like they never could get over the hump. They never could
Yeah,
win anything, you know. So it's
yeah,
like the stats and everything looked good, but it's just like Harden, he didn't really like to defend,
yeah,
and you have to defend if you're gonna win. So it's like I feel like Harden and like Luka reminds me a lot of James Harden. It's like
yeah,
he's very good offensively. He gonna put up the numbers, but it's just on that defensive end, bro. It's like he is just non-existent.
yeah, yeah,
He's non-existent. And if Luka's guarding your best player gonna have a pretty good game that game, cause
yeah,
he ain't about to play no defense. I'm serious. He not playing no defense at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah,
So that's my thing with Luka Doncic. So
yeah,
it was a big uproar in Dallas about Luka
yeah,
Doncic.
yeah,
They Nico Harrison trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers. It was people out there with signs, and it was a big
yeah,
deal.
yeah,
But I personally feel like the Mavs have a better opportunity win a championship with Cooper Flag
yeah,
than they would have had with Luka Doncic.
yeah,
That's just my perspective,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's because of the defense.
yeah. The
You know,
defense.
the
Yeah,
defense, and then it was the conditioning. Because he
yeah,
went to LA and he was
yeah,
out of shape.
Yeah.
You know, he
In
wasn't in
shape now
shape.
though. He been
Yeah,
conditioning though.
yeah,
LeBron,
absolutely. Yeah, he in
LeBron
shape
got him
now.
conditioning now. And,
That's a
and and like
fact.
you
Yeah.
say, not only Luca, bad with defense, but right now, like we talked about, kind of what's going well for LA right now, but like what's going wrong for LA is the defense. You know what I'm
True.
saying? Like right now, they're currently ranked like one of the worst teams when it comes to defense, and especially on the perimeter. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So they defense is like the Achilles heel right now, because it's like, you know what I'm saying, if they could really get the defense together,
Mm-hmm.
they got the offense, they got players that can score, they got that on lock, but the
Right.
defense is what's keeping LA from being, great, and that's what's hurting them, because
That's what
like
hurt him.
they even, they letting little teams, teams that's not even good, knock down threes on, like, just in a recent loss against the Sacramento Kings. You know what I'm saying? The Sacramento Kings, they shot like 60, it was 65% from the 3-point range.
Wow.
Like, come on, man. And now you doing that against the Sacramento Kings when you got the Thunder that's coming out here, started the season 24-1. You
Mm-hmm.
got the Nuggets, they got Jokic out right now, but once they get Jokic back, you know what I'm saying? Them boys. So if you trying to get to the league, like get to the championship and trying to get another ring for LeBron before Father Time really kick in for him, which it
Mm-hmm.
has, but he's still playing phenomenal. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You're gonna have to lock up that defense. You're gonna have to tighten up the defense, because that's what's hurting LA right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And my thing is, you know, once LeBron does decide to hang up the basketball shoes, like, what's the direction? Like, what direction are you gonna go in?
Yeah,
Like, because I mean they have, like you said earlier, Austin Reeves, you got Rui Hachimura,
yeah,
Marcus Smart, who's, a superb defender, you
yeah,
know, but it's just like, what direction are you gonna go in going forward after LeBron retires? Because like I said, Luka Doncic doesn't play defense, but he's gonna give you the offense, but you have to be able to defend. And like
yeah,
you said, they suffering right now defensively. So how are you gonna win games if you're not a good defensive team? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, that's kind of just where I'm at when it
yeah.
comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, man.
Yeah, I mean, what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to rebuild around Luca once LeBron decides to hang it up. That's why they brought him there, to be LeBron's successor. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And only thing they're gonna have to do, they're gonna have to build around him. You know what I'm saying? But when they build around him, they need to build defense, because right now, I mean, like, and they need a center, like a true center. They need somebody that's gonna crash the boards, grab
Right,
rebounds, and offensive and defense. Because right now they don't
right,
they don't really got a center. They got DeAndre Ayton, and I think Hayes still there, but I mean, they ain't no threat.
right.
Ain't no
Not
threat.
defensively.
Yeah,
Nah.
so that's that's
Yeah.
that's what I think it is with them. They definitely need to work on the defense. Offense doing great. As long as they can stay healthy,
Hmm.
they can make a run. I think they can make a run. Will it go all the way? Only time will tell. But
Hmm. That's where you at.
yep, yep. Who we
Yeah.
got next?
Next up, Boston Celtics.
Austin Celtics. I'm gonna let you go on this one, and then I'll go after you.
Man, Boston Celtics, I kind of feel like Boston, they surprised a lot of people this season. Obviously, Jason Tatum went down with that torn Achilles last season,
Yep.
and you
Out
know,
for the season, looking like.
out for the season. A lot of people that kind of, wrote Boston off. Kind of felt like, Boston was gonna be a non-factor in the East, but I still feel like Joe Mazzulla still got the team playing well. They playing at a high level. Jalen Brown is, stepped up and shown that he can, be that guy on the team.
Yep.
You got Pritchard, um, the little guard. He shoots the ball well. They
Mm-hmm.
moving the basketball. They playing together. And they
They
still getting
still
it done.
getting
They
it done.
still winning games. Even though they don't have Jason Tatum, and then they lost the center. I'm trying
Yeah.
to think.
Harford. Al Harford.
Yeah, Al Horford. They lost
Yep.
Al Horford. He's in
Yep.
Golden State right now. So, you know, that was kind of like a big loss for him because, you know, Harford would help them when it came to hitting big shots and spreading the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with them losing him, you know, it was kind of like, oh man, I don't know. But I mean, now, I mean, they still winning games, man. They still
Yep.
getting it done. And
Yep.
you know, I still think they still a threat, you know, in the
Yeah.
East, even though, you know, like you said, not the Pacers, the Pistons are number one, but I still feel like Boston's still a threat, man,
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
East, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like
Yep.
Boston is gonna always be a tough team to beat because Boston defends well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always defend
Yep.
well.
Man,
Yeah.
look, I agree with everything you said. You know what I'm saying? Like with Tatum going down, nobody wouldn't really expecting them to do exactly what they're doing. Right
Mm-hmm.
now they're number two in the Eastern Conference, so they're number
Mm-hmm.
two right behind Detroit Pistons. They're only down like 5 games from first place. So, and like you said, Jalen Brown. I mean, man, like he's showing that he can be a number one scorer on the team. He's showing that he can be the number one option. Like I ain't
Right.
even gonna lie, man. I seen a game like a couple weeks back. I forgot who they was playing, but bruh, the whole game,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brown just putting the team on his back, scoring. I think that game he had anywhere between 30 to 40 points.
That's a
So
fact.
like you say, and then the coach is a
Mm-hmm.
great coach. He always
Great.
got his team in line, and you know what I'm saying. And that goes down from management all the way up from management to the bottom. Like the Boston Celtics organization, they're a championship organization. They got the most championships in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and they always gonna have their stuff together, and that's just the
Every
way the
year.
Boston Celtics is, man.
Every
So
year.
tip my hat to them. Number two
Mm-hmm.
in the East, Jalen Brown. Ever since he signed that big contract, he said
He
he
took off.
he worked the money. He
Right.
worked.
He worth the money. Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. He worth the money. He definitely worth it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Next man, Oklahoma City Thunder slash Houston Rockets. I know you went to the game last night, man, without me. But
Hey
but yeah, man,
man, next time
Oklahoma
we gonna
City
hook up,
Thunder.
bro. Next time.
Yeah. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets, man. What you think?
Yeah, I mean with OKC, like I mentioned earlier, they started off the season hot. They was 24-1 before they started, to kind of come back down to reality. But
Yeah.
they just basically still moving and going off of the momentum from last season. Defending champions. You know what I'm saying? They never lost a step. SGA. He was MVP last year, looking like he gonna be MVP again this year. It's between
Mm-hmm.
him and Jokic right now. They both like top two. Got some
Mm-hmm.
other players in there. That's got some votes and stuff too. But right now, SGA, I mean, his game is like seamless, bro. It's like he can, without even trying, he can put up 30 points. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And it's
True.
like I was just reading a stat that like for the last for like the last 120 games, the
Mm-hmm.
dude been 20 points or better.
Mm.
20 points or better. And it's like, come on, when you doing that, you know what I'm saying? And not only is he doing well, OKC they playing good as a unit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
From the game I seen last night, they was moving the ball. They was moving on defense. They was defending. And then to kind of touch on Houston, they got all those 7 footers,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're too tall, bro, sometimes that can affect you moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't keep up with the guys that's smaller and that's running around and moving around, right? So
Right. Right.
I seen a lot of ISO ball last night from the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
KD getting the ball, kind of doing ISO. Segan, he getting the ball, doing ISO. He running point guard. Like you got a center running point guard. And kind
Mm-hmm.
of like we was talking about before the show, Houston is gonna need a point guard. They're gonna need
Absolutely.
somebody to run and control that team, whether they do that through trade or
Mm-hmm.
whether Reed can step up and be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Houston needs a point guard and they need to defend better.
Mm-hmm.
They can put up the points. They can definitely put up the points, but gotta be able to defend. They did pretty good through 3 quarters with SGA. They kind of held them down. He didn't really get to his 20 points until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of my perspective on the Thunders in the Rockets. Thunders doing great, continuing that championship run. Rockets, they got good games that they do, and then they got bad games that they do. And it seems to me like the Rockets is always losing in the second half. It's like
Right.
it's like they wearing out because
Mm-hmm.
they playing KD 35 40 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they really don't have a good rotation of. It's like they playing their starters too much, and I think they're getting tired. And I think, like I said, they're gonna need a point guard to kind of control the team, and have some kind of leadership on the floor. Because right now, it's no leadership. The coach is
Right.
great. The coach doing a good job, with the pieces he have, and he trying to make it work. But we're gonna need somebody to run the team on the floor. We're gonna need a true point guard instead of our center running the point.
That's true. That's true. Um, Oklahoma City Thunder, man, I gotta agree with you on that. I feel like Oklahoma City Thunder, they still the favorite in the West. And you gotta kind of tip your hat off to Sam Presti, the general manager, for building and putting together that team all off the draft.
Yeah,
And a couple trades, too. They brought in uh the defender, man. I can't think it. Caruso. Yeah, they
yeah,
brought in
Caruso, yeah,
Caruso.
yeah.
So a vet that defends and can shoot it. And so Oklahoma City Thunder, man, I feel like Oklahoma City Thunder gonna be a problem in the league for a long time because they've
Yeah,
accomplished all the things they've accomplished already, and they still have draft picks. That's the
still
crazy
got
part
draft
about
picks.
it.
Yeah,
They
yep,
still have draft picks, and they've won a championship. They signed their best three players to like max extensions,
yeah,
max contracts, and you still have draft picks for
yep,
the next couple years.
yep,
So it's just like, man, I still, no matter what, I feel like Oklahoma City Thunder is the favorite in the West, and they gonna probably be the favorite for a couple years until these other teams in the West can beat them and knock
yeah,
them out.
yeah.
As far as the Houston Rockets, a lot of people might not like what I'm about to say, but as far as the Houston Rockets, I feel like the Houston Rockets should have never traded for Kevin Durant. That's how I feel.
Mm,
I feel like the Houston Rockets had a better team last year than what they do this year, and a lot
yeah,
of a lot of that
yeah,
reason is because of the depth that they had last year. A
yep,
lot of people, bash Jalen Green, because of the way he played against the Warriors last season. But Jalen Green is gonna be a superstar in the league at some
yep,
point, and it was only his first playoff appearance. Like he had
exactly.
never been to the playoffs since
Yeah,
he been in a Rockets uniform.
and do it in
So
his
I
early
mean,
20s, like you know.
right. So it's like you have to get this young man some time to grow and develop and come into his own, but they were fast to move on from him and bring in Kevin Durant. And it's kind of like, but you lose that chemistry and that depth that you had on that team last year, because when you look at that team they had last year,
Yeah,
man, they had a lot of chemistry.
yeah,
They played well
and they played
together.
at a faster pace.
Yes,
They played
because
at
they
a
were
faster
younger.
pace. Yeah,
They were younger. So, you bring Kevin Durant in, Kevin Durant, 30, 738. I'm assuming I'm thinking off the top of the head, but
yeah,
he's in the later years of his career.
yep,
So it's kind of like you gave up your young talent for an older guy, but you didn't get better. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
When you make a trade, it's like you make a trade to get better.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I still don't think. I think even if Van Fleet comes back, it'll help a lot when he
yeah,
come back,
yeah,
because he can score, he can shoot, and he's a true point guard.
yeah,
And like you said, they really do need a point guard, but I still don't think the team is gonna, you
yeah,
know, like I don't feel like they're gonna go that far, bro. I just feel like
yeah,
that Rockets team last year was way better than this current Rockets team.
yeah.
And I just felt like
I agree
the
with that.
Rockets shouldn't never traded for Kevin Durant, bro. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest. That's just my personal
I ain't gonna
perspective.
lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. When I first heard that KD was coming to Houston, I was excited about it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm like, man, we getting KD, we about to be unstoppable,
Right.
right? And and that's just me just going off of star power, right? Just
Right.
just
Right.
the
The
name,
name.
right?
The name.
But as give your perspective on it, as I've been seeing the Rockets play, especially after that game last night, I think it was a bad trade too. And
Mm-hmm.
even me and my son loved basketball. I always talk to him about it like that. And he got a Jalen Green jersey from last year. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? When Jalen Green was playing, and that was his favorite player on the Rockets team.
Mine too.
Jalen, that younger group, Jalen Green, Thompson, Jabari Smith, all of those
Yes.
guys, like you said, they had that
They
chemistry
had the
and they
chemistry.
played at a faster pace. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what's hurting the Rockets right now, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Absolutely, man. Lastly, man, Ja Morant, man. We've been hearing a lot of trade talks about Ja Morant. It's been talked about that he might be headed to Miami. A couple other teams interested.
yep.
What you think about Ja Morant, man?
Man, I seen a news report the other day. He bought a house in Miami, $3 million house.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that as
you
well.
most of the time when things like that start leaking, they're telling you something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're telling you that, hey, this move to Miami might be, about to happen. The trade about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then that's his preferred destination. That's his
Mm-hmm.
preferred destination. And just to kind of, I think he needs to get away from Memphis, because like in Memphis, he didn't had problems on court, off court, and I just think he needs a new environment. And I just think whatever team he go to or whatever trade they make for him, Memphis needs to try to get as much back for him as they can. But I
Mm-hmm.
just don't know how high his stock is because of those issues that he done had on and off the court. And
That's a
he
fact.
didn't he didn't been recently he been plagued by injury as well. So, I don't kind of know how high his stock is gonna be, but yeah, it's been trade rumors that they are open to hearing offers for him.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think he might end up in Miami, because I think with Pat Riley over there, Pat Riley always wants superstars.
Mm-hmm.
When he formed the big three with LeBron, Chris Bosh, and D Wade,
Mm-hmm.
Miami is a superstar town. And then they got a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Eric Spoelstra's there. He always got the Heat in contention.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they're maybe last place in the division and in the conference, somehow they still make the playoffs. They
Mm-hmm.
still make the playoffs. So I think it'll be a good fit for him in Miami. They saying that Hero might be one of the trading pieces they use to try to get him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they can, I think with him and the center, Bam, I just call him Bam. I don't know how to pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
Bam.
I
Out of
think with them
bio.
up, I think that could maybe do something in Miami. I don't. I kind of heard that the Bucks maybe, but who they gonna get rid of in the Bucks? All they got is Giannis, really.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. Man, here's my thing with Ja Morant, right? So Ja Morant, I'm not really a huge fan of Ja Morant, and a lot of it is because of the off the court issues. I just feel like when you when you're a professional athlete, you have to lead with a certain standard, and
Yeah,
I feel like when you do the things that Ja Morant doing. I mean, I seen a video the other day with him getting into it with somebody,
yeah,
talking about fighting, and
yeah,
it's just kind of like my thing with Ja Morant has always been. I talked about this on social media as well, just like man, when you in the NBA, like you a professional athlete, like it's kids that look up to you,
yeah,
like you at one point they were talking about you possibly being the face of the league. You
yeah.
know
The
what I'm
face of the
saying?
league. Yeah,
Yeah, the face of the league.
yeah,
And it's just like for you to you know put yourself in them type of situations, it's kind of like why, like you
yeah.
didn't really have to do that. And it's like, you know, like I said, you're a professional athlete and you have to hold up a certain standard as a professional athlete.
Yes.
And when it comes to going to Miami, the biggest thing with Ja Morant going to Miami is that Heat culture and Pat Riley. You see, the Heat culture and Pat Riley, they don't play around over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like they don't
yeah,
they don't play around over there. They strictly business. So, it's like if you go to Miami, it's like you're gonna have to be locked in and focused on basketball. Like you're not gonna be to go to Miami and do the
exactly.
same things you did in Memphis.
Yeah, and
Because
that's what
Pat
he needs.
Riley,
That's what
huh?
he needs. He needs
Yeah,
somebody to, he need an environment. He needs a culture to where they're gonna, have him with that discipline.
right,
Have him to where he can focus on basketball and get away from the streets. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because he had the gun charge, that issue back then. And then, when the other day I seen him, he was playing the game. He shot a three, and as soon as he made the three, he pulling out the he
Yeah,
pulling out
yeah.
the
Just stuff like that.
and it's just like, man, you know what I'm saying? You was almost the face of the league, like you say. I think he needs an environment to where he can focus back on basketball
Mm-hmm.
and get back to, that 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 greatness that that he has and that he could show, the flashes of it. And I think, like you say, I think, the Heat, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, that whole culture, I think that would be good for him because, like you say, they're not gonna tolerate that. And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't tolerate it from why you think Jimmy Butler ain't there no more.
Exactly, exactly.
you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, they didn't tolerate that. So that's my thing with Ja. I just feel like he definitely gonna have to mature and become a professional if he goes to Miami, because Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra and stuff, bro. Like they not playing that in Miami. Like they
Yeah,
gonna get him out of there. Like if he can't control himself and you know actually become a real leader on a team, they gonna get him out of there.
yeah,
So yeah, but. I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what
yeah,
happens. I know it's a it's a big story, so
yeah.
I wanted to touch on it. So,
Yep, yep. Yeah,
but
and we'll touch on more trade talk, as the things start happening closer to the trade deadline. Trade deadline is February 5th. So, a lot of teams right now may be kind of holding their chess pieces, and really not leaking too much information. But as we know, as they start getting closer to that deadline, more news and more stories are gonna start breaking. And, we'll see, what teams are making moves and, trying to get better and things like that. So I don't see Lakers making any moves, because I know we talked about them earlier. I don't see the Thunders making any moves.
mm-mm,
Uh, you know, and maybe the Rockets might need to make a move to try to see if they can try to get a point guard. I don't
mm-mm,
know, they kind of that was a little rumor too that maybe Ja to the Rockets, but no telling how that's going to turn out, if that even turn out, with salary caps and contracts and all that. I
right,
don't get into all that. I don't know about all that, but the Rockets need to do something to shake things up. Out of everybody we talked today
mm,
about, all the teams we talked about, I think out of those teams, I think they're the ones who really need to do something. I don't think
true,
Lakers or Thunder need to do something as much as the Rockets need to do, because Kevin Durant only signed a 2-year contract.
mm-hmm.
So if we trying to get a championship, while we got KD, we need to move fast.
That's a fact. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. So I feel the same way. I feel like Rockets definitely gonna have to figure something out. Reed Shepard, I just feel like Reed Shepard is not a true point guard. Reed
Yeah,
Shepard more like a combo guard.
yeah,
He's a
yeah.
shooter. You know what
Shooter,
I'm
shooting
saying?
guard, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
a shooter,
yeah,
man. He not really a point guard. They need like you said, a floor leader and somebody that's gonna run that offense. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So well, that's pretty much it that we have for guys today. Talk how we talk, sports talk. I'm your co-host David O. My co-host.
D Broussard.
We appreciate y'all tuning in. We appreciate y'all listening. Y'all check out the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. YouTube.com/ at Talk How We Talk Sports Talk. You can find us on Instagram as well. But until we meet again, until we see each other again, stay safe, my brother. Tell
Already.
cuz I said what's up. Tell the
Yeah.
family I said what's up. And we'll catch y'all later.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Talk how we talk. Let's
Sports
go.
talk, baby. Let's go.